A national analyst looked across the entire NFL. She looked at every single franchise. Then she pointed at the Cleveland Browns and said this team might be one of the best places for a generational quarterback to land. I had to read that twice. Because for years, Cleveland was the city quarterbacks ran away from. The place where careers quietly disappeared. And now people are saying it like it is a compliment. That is a different franchise, Browns fans. That is a genuinely different franchise. But before we get to that, we need to talk about a name from the recent past. Because right alongside that conversation about Cleveland's future, there is another story playing out right now. And it is the kind of story that reminds you exactly what this organization is trying to leave behind. These two stories could not be more different. But together, they paint a picture of where this franchise came from and where it might actually be going. So let us get into it. Let us start with Perry and Winfrey. And I want to be clear. There is nothing enjoyable about telling this story. Because watching a talent like his just evaporate is genuinely sad. When the Browns drafted Winfrey in the 4th round of the 2022 draft out of Oklahoma, the reaction was not bad. The guy had explosiveness. He had energy. He had that edge rusher quickness that coordinators dream about in a rotational defensive tackle. Browns fans saw the tape and thought, all right, this could be something. Cleveland gave him a real shot. Over 300 defensive snaps as a rookie. Pass rushing situations. Legitimate NFL reps against legitimate NFL competition. But the production never matched the potential. 22 tackles. Half a sack in 13 games. And worse than the box score, the discipline was not there. The consistency was not there. Browns fans remember the moments where he looked completely out of control on the field. You cannot build around chaos, no matter how athletic it is. Then July of 2023 came. Winfrey became a suspect in an aggravated robbery investigation. Just like that, Cleveland released him. And when a team lets you go not because of football, but because of something that serious, the window starts closing fast. He bounced to the Jets, then the Cowboys. Neither lasted. He went to the UFL, played for the Birmingham Stallions, and actually played well enough to earn another Cowboys opportunity. That takes real ability. People do not hand those chances out. But it did not stick. Now in 2026, he is back in the UFL, released by Birmingham, then signed and released by the Columbus Aviators, twice in the same spring. At that point, it is not bad luck. It is a pattern. And reports say attitude concerns have followed Winfrey since his very first season with the Browns. That is the part that stings the most. Because coaches will pour time into raw talent all day long. They will rebuild your technique. They will adjust your role. They will find creative ways to use what you have. But if the attitude is the issue, if leadership keeps hitting the same wall no matter what room you walk into, eventually every door closes. For Perry and Winfrey, it looks like that is happening right now. Does this affect Cleveland's current roster directly? No. The defensive line is in a completely different place now. More disciplined, more experienced, better built top to bottom. But the reason this story matters goes beyond any single player. Andrew Berry has made it very clear. This organization evaluates character alongside talent now. Mental fit and professional fit are not afterthoughts anymore. They are part of the process. And when you revisit situations like Winfrey's, you understand exactly why that philosophy exists. The talent was real, and real talent wasted is always a loss. Now let us flip this completely. Because if the Winfrey story represents the old Browns, the wasted picks, the chaos, the revolving door of disappointment, then what I am about to tell you represents something that feels genuinely new. ESPN analyst Mina Kimes was recently discussing potential future landing spots for Texas quarterback Arch Manning. She looked at teams like the Jets and the Cardinals. Then she looked at Cleveland, and she did not dismiss it. She did not laugh it off. She pointed directly at the offensive infrastructure the Browns are building right now. Wide receivers Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston. The continued investment along the offensive line. And her broader point was this. Cleveland is quietly becoming a quarterback-friendly destination. Say that out loud. A quarterback-friendly destination. Do you understand how impossible those words would have sounded 5 years ago? This was a franchise where quarterbacks did not just fail. They disappeared. The instability alone was enough to hurt a young player before he even got started. And for anyone unfamiliar, Arch Manning is the nephew of Peyton and Eli Manning. He is a generational talent at Texas. He was already being projected as a potential #1 overall pick before he decided to stay in school. The kind of prospect that reshapes a franchise the moment he walks through the door. Now I want to be straight with you. We are not saying Arch Manning is coming to Cleveland. That is not what this is. The draft is a long way away. Manning still has to keep developing. The Manning family is historically strategic about these decisions. Coaching staff, stability, market conditions, all of it matters to that family. On top of that, the New York Jets reportedly hold 3 first-round picks in the 2027 draft. That gives them enormous flexibility if they decide they want to control the board for a prospect at Manning's level. The competition would be intense. But here is what actually matters. The fact that Cleveland is being mentioned in this conversation at all. Seriously mentioned. With real reasoning behind it. That is the headline. Because what it tells you is that the roster construction is starting to earn national respect. The investment in the trenches is being noticed. The receiver additions are being noticed. The overall structure that Barry has been building is starting to look like a quarterback incubator instead of a quarterback graveyard. And that shift changes everything about how this franchise operates going forward. The Browns do not have to be desperate anymore. They can be patient. They can be intentional. They can build the environment first, and then let the quarterback situation develop naturally. Through the draft, through free agency, or through some path nobody has even predicted yet. Think about how different that is from where this team was. Cleveland used to reach for quarterbacks out of desperation. The line was a mess. The weapons were not there. The culture was unstable. And they kept hoping some quarterback was special enough to overcome all of it. Nobody was. Nobody ever is. But now, the foundation is actually being laid. And if Browns fans can hold on to one thing from today, let it be this. The goal was never just to find a quarterback. The goal was to build a team where a quarterback could win. And for maybe the first time in a very long time, Cleveland might actually be doing that. 2 stories. One franchise. One shows you what happens when potential and professionalism never meet. The other shows you that the national perception of this organization is shifting in ways that would have been hard to even imagine just a few years ago. Real progress does not always make noise. Sometimes it just shows up quietly in conversations you are not even supposed to be part of. And that is exactly what happened here. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is Perry and Winfrey's football career officially over? And could you ever realistically see Arch Manning in a Browns uniform someday? I want to know what you think. If you want daily coverage of this team from someone who actually cares as deeply as you do, hit like and subscribe to Browns Breakout. We are building something real here. And I want you in this community from the very beginning. Go Browns!